Momentum Investments has warned of a higher risk of social unrest, and they cite this as a consequence of spending cuts or austerity measures by Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana. PwC senior economist Xhanti Payi agrees. Let's bring him in now to discuss this further. Xhanti, thank you so much for joining us this morning. What are the factors fueling this risk for social unrest in South Africa?
Well, I think we have come through a very traumatic time through the COVID-19 crisis. And there's a paper actually right on this by the IMF, which they really studied about 123 countries globally. And they said, what they found is that actually pandemics do lead to economic despair and social unrest, because what they actually do is to lower economic growth and increase inequality. We also know that the economy has recovered from its pre-pandemic levels, and employment itself has not actually recovered. So there are many people whose jobs have not been recovered since the COVID-19. So there's a lot of deprivation in society. And one of the things that PwC we have been talking about is this risk of social unrest. We actually know that South Africa has the fourth highest risk of social unrest globally. And so we've been telling our clients that one of the things that's very, very important to do is to try and build resilience, try to take measures, anticipating that this is a major risk that we are facing.
Now, if we look at the high levels of unemployment, the high levels of inequality, all this is not good for business or investor confidence in South Africa.
No, not at all. And I think one of the things that a lot of people in the public, again, this is a matter of academic study, is that many people for a long time have been told, of course, to tighten their belts. Where many of us have said have been told to take the sacrifices that come with some of the economic struggles and inequalities that we have. And so a lot of people then starting to see other people doing well while they are struggling is something that is a problem. But of course, investors look at this and they say, look, is this a good place, a good time for me to invest, especially given the history that we have with unrest, the destruction that was caused by the KZN and some Gauteng unrest, and the damage to infrastructure, damage to business. And so a lot of people are looking at that and saying, look, is this the right time to invest? Is there a better time for growth when things have stabilized, when we are starting to see some growth, when we are starting to see some social rest? And perhaps also some of the things that we're seeing, of course, as we approach an election year, there's probably going to be a lot of instability again as people start to express themselves around their unhappiness given the economic conditions they find themselves.
Now, Xhanti, the United Nations Development Programme warned earlier this year that South Africa's high, specifically youth unemployment rate, is a ticking time bomb that could result in social unrest. But how can we address this? The government has made a lot of programs. There has been some private sector involvement. But has it been any success in addressing youth unemployment specifically?
Yes, one of the things that we know is causing unemployment for young people is the lack of skills. I think that our economy, as we know, is transitioning. There's all sorts of things that are happening from, of course, the changes in technology, IA, and the various things that young people, skilled workers are getting more access to job opportunities than anybody else. And so there's a really big opportunity for business and the private sector to work very hard in building those skills, to working together. Because I think one of the things we don't think about is that we think, each company has to try and build its own skills. But there are a variety of skills, exchange of those skills that are going to be important. So one area of focus is to actually build business there. And I think that will also help give our youth some hope that they may get some access. Because one of the things is that a lot of people are sitting back and these young people are sort of looking out and saying, I'll never be able to break in. And so that opportunity for a skill, for some skills accumulation may be useful, especially those programs that started that some income that allows young people to some access to some additional money to help them along to think that there's something out the future. Because once people are giving in despair, I think this is economic despair that the IMF talks about. That causes social unrest, because once people are giving up. So we need to actually work against that despair that the IMF has spoken about and try and lift people with some hope that they can have access to the economy, they can have access to job opportunities, and that there's something there so that they're not actually distracted.
Thank you so much for your insights this morning. That was PwC senior economist Xhanti Payi.